Hello, everyone. So, if you look over my left shoulder, or on your screen, it would be like here behind my head to your left. You'll see that TV on the wall, and I routinely have that running old cartoons and episodes of things for the toy shop, just to put a little bit of noise in the air and a little bit of nostalgia on the screen. People love seeing the cartoons they grew up with popping up. But one of the episodes that came up today was Enter the Nightbird. Nightbird is one of those characters that comes up fairly often as far as people responding to me when I talk about female Transformers and people pointing out like if I if I neglected her, if I missed her, if I didn't talk about her, well, because the fact is she's not technically a Transformer. In G1, she's an Earth created robot, never transformed, and never truly sentient from what we could tell. So, I don't know, she's just kind of an episode plot, but she's gained prominence because she is one of the few female Decepticons that you could actually point to. And like I said, technically, she's not a Decepticon, right? She's no more Decepticon than when Megatron brainwashed like Sparkplug, the human. Like Sparkplug's not a Decepticon. He's just a tool being used by Megatron through mind control. So, in the same vein, I normally skip her, but she has gained prominence over the years. We've seen her redone time after time, usually when Arcee needs someone to be retooled into. And we have, on very rare occasions, seen her pop up in fiction. Most recently, she showed up in the Cyberverse cartoon as just kind of a extra mercenary for a few episodes. And yes, she is very blatantly just a Nemesis RC with a faceplate on. It's not the most imaginative use of her. It pretty much just boils her down to just being, for lack of better terms, a generic mercenary. So we need to do better. We can do better. I mean, let's think of it this way. She has a masterpiece toy. She has a masterpiece toy, even though she's only been in one episode of official fiction, at least G1 wise. So this needs to be done better. We can do better. So we just need to kind of sit down, think it out. How do you actually put Nightbird into Transformers fiction a little bit more efficiently than they have in recent years? All right, so to start off with, I'm not a fan of her just being a generic RC retool, the go-to RC. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, that makes the most sense. In the big picture, that's probably what her lot in life would be. Because Hasbro's not going to devote too much to like a completely original female mold unless they have retools, repaints, etc. lined up, and we'll talk about that some other day. But for now, yeah, I'd like her to be something different, even if it means our C's traditional vehicle mode has to change. So, you'll notice that when I pitch hypothetical situations or vehicles that I would really like to see more often in Transformers, three-wheeled ones come up quite often, and personally that's just because I happen to think they look cool. Now, last time I mentioned the Can-Am Spider, people were nice enough to remind me that the Human Alliance line, the smaller one that was done during Dark of the Moon, they actually did a Spider-style motorcycle. So, yeah, okay, that one's in there. And I just used a Spider, so I don't want to use that. And I want her to be larger than that because, like, I picked the Can-Am Spider for Rat Trap because it's so small. He's noticeably smaller than the rest of the cast. So I can't make him like a motorcycle or he'd be like super tiny. I needed him something that would put him at the right amount of bulk if Cheetor was a sports car. So that's where like my proportion brain was going. So if I don't want her to be like she would be like at a motorcycle, she would be like, let's say like Minicon size compared to even a mini-bot Transformer. So I need something smallish as a car. And again, I went to three-wheel. So instead of a Spider, how about a Slingshot? It's not the Slingshot, the aerial bot. No, no, no. It is a Polaris slingshot, three-wheel vehicle, open seating, super sleek, compact, but still has enough bulk to it that it would feasibly unfold into a relatively good-looking female Transformer. I think so, anyway. This I could see being in Arcee Earth mode. I could see it very much being a Nightbird vehicle. Hey, it even comes in Nightbird colors, so I really can't even argue it. I didn't even have to Photoshop this one. I feel like this is a nice medium size. Like, she's going to end up a little bit smaller than your standard Autobot, but she's not going to be like Bumblebee small either, so she can pose a threat to even some of the beefier Autobots like Ironhide. So, I think this is the vehicle mode I would choose for her. All right, personality. Okay, so one of the things about the Enter the Nightbird episode that I thought was super cool was she didn't really have any powers of her own like a lot of the Autobots do, but she had a way of countering them all. You know, when Jazz pulls out his sonic weapons, she has discs that mute them. Okay, cool. Like, she's like prepared for everything. Like, how do you stop someone who can counter your every move or counter every special ability you have? That's an interesting ability in and of itself, aside from just being very ninja in super stealthy, super skilled at melee combat. To also be able to have a counter, almost like Batman-esque ability to like counter everything your opponent does, is super interesting. It's almost like if Taskmaster was a Transformer, like something along that range, right? All right, so I like her in that level. I like her in those like level of that kind of ability. So, fiction-wise, how do we introduce her? Because I want to keep her somewhere grounded into her original story, but I want to do something a little bit more interesting that opens up more possibilities at the same time. And I don't want to throw her in as just a generic merc either. So, thinking this over, I think there is a way to use her with her original origin, with her original backstory, and put an interesting twist on it that tells a maybe a little bit heavier of a story than Transformers typically does. Let's imagine we're pitching this as an episode for a new cartoon. Like if this was going to be an episode of Earthspark, for instance. So we stick to the origin. We stick to the main origin. You know, she is a creation of a human laboratory. We can feasibly keep her original concept, where Dr. Fujiyama was the one who created her, trying to show off how advanced human technology has become. So we can stick to that, but we can also expand upon it. So just like in Enter the Nightbird, the Decepticons are going to get control of Nightbird, but rather than just a simple AI upgrade and reprogramming, she is getting a full-on Cybertronian brain installed into her. For lack of better terms, she is going to be an Earth-born Transformer, which is an Earthspark concept, but if we're pitching this as a new cartoon episode, it could actually fit in as like the Decepticon way of doing this. But there's a particular reason for going this direction. You kind of play the episode out the same way. It's like she infiltrates the Autobot base. She has a counter for everyone's moves. Now, in the original cartoon, they are kind of sworn, do not damage her. She's one of a kind, etc. She's like precious as a military like defense creation. They need her intact. Okay, so the Autobots are holding back through the whole episode. They're not really like required to do that here, which means that even at their best, even going all out against Nightbird, she's still able to muster a counter for them. And part of it is like lack of preparation. If Nightbird were to reappear, they would be better prepared for what she's about, so it wouldn't be like debut power-up, right? It'd just be like unprepared for something brand new. So you're still going to get, she's still going to even out and level out as just like a normal level threat for a Decepticon, even though she looks really good the first time out. So you pretty much, you have to end the episode similar to the way they did in G1, but we're going to add a twist to it. And this is where we kind of get into a heavier story than Transformers typically tells for its cartoons. But I like it. I like how it would work. You have the Autobots stop Nightbird, disable her. And when they take her back to Autobot HQ and, Wheeljack starts poking around in her programming, they find out that, yes, the Decepticons did bestow this Cybertronian computer core in her, so she is a sentient robot now. But they never touched her programming. Whatever Nightbird has become now is actually making this choice for herself. She is not this mindless being that Megatron reprogrammed into a weapon against the Autobots. She is a artificial life form that chose to go against the Autobots. You've come to realize that when we on Earth create big weapons like this, it's meant for war. It's meant for combat. It's meant for, at best, defense. So when you program a giant robot ninja to be a self-defender, you kind of have to guess why. Like, that was a big question in the original cartoon that no one really answered. Why a giant female robot ninja? Well, have you noticed how she has a counter for all of the Autobots' special abilities built into her? You kind of wonder why? So, in story, yes, the reason for building something like this is because the Autobots can't be around to protect everyone from Decepticon attack at once. There's got to be something that the Earthlings control that can do it when the Autobots are unavailable. They can't just depend on their giant robot alien saviors. We enter a Superman situation now. So, enter the Nightbird, a mass-produced alien fighting machine that can stand one-to-one against the Decepticons. She just happens to be designed to counter all the Autobots' special abilities. Because the root of her, at the very base level, she's not designed to defend from She's not designed to defend from Decepticons. She is designed just in case the Autobots go rogue. If we are equating this to Batman once again, it's the Superman scenario. How do you stop Superman if he decides he doesn't want to protect the planet anymore? That this near godlike strength and ability he has, he suddenly decides, I don't want to protect everyone. I want to control everyone. We've had plenty of those stories. Nightbird falls into a similar category, where she is created by an Earthling just in case an Autobot does not want to defend Earth anymore. Just in case they go as bad as Decepticons do. So, at the end of the day, what this means is that Optimus Prime and the Autobots captured her under a false pretense, or from a mistaken pretense at least. In their minds, they were capturing a machine that was turned rogue. Well, that's not the case. They captured someone who was choosing to do it. And this is Optimus Prime. Freedom is the right of all sentient beings. Isn't it, Prime? Optimus is the type, proper Optimus, I should say. If we're talking movie Optimus, she's already got her head chopped off. But this is proper Optimus Prime. Capturing her under that pretense, without accounting for the fact that this is what she wanted, that's not going to sit well with him. And it's not going to sit well with the rest of the Autobots when he says, she's made her choice, let her go. The next time we meet, she will not just be a complication, she will be an enemy. But for now, we went about this the wrong way. So this is him making amends and allowing her to leave. So she would become a recurring threat amongst the Decepticons. And now Optimus has something to chew on. That the race that he has been protecting, the species he's been protecting, and the people that he was trusting with, Cybertronian robotic secrets in order to create Nightbird in the first place, we're actually potentially turning on them. It's a hard nugget to swallow to actually learn this, to not only know that he made a mistake in capturing Nightbird, and not considering that maybe that she's doing this of her own will, but also that the people he trusted probably shouldn't have been. So, it's a difficult little life lesson that not every human can be trusted, even though they have the best intentions on the tip of their tongue. And it does give the Decepticons a legitimate female presence amongst their force, which, if we're looking at the classic lineup of Decepticons, there really wasn't any. It's why Nightbird ends up on so many people's female Decepticon lists, even though she technically wasn't. So, this is a story to actually put her on that side. And if we really want to be fun and weird about it, we can even expand on the concept of Nightbird herself. So, she is created with the idea that she is a female ninja. So what if that is just something of a running theme amongst a series of Transformers? So you take classic historical warriors of the past that we have here on Earth, and you kind of give them this Cybertronian design and look. So you kind of have this sub-faction of, in this case, Decepticons, that could potentially all be based on, classic Earth warriors. So ninja being amongst them. So you could have some kind of old-fashioned knight, like we had, something kind of based on like Thunder Howl, for instance. You could have things based on, say, a Viking. Some big Decepticon, giant horns, big axe-wielding guy. What if you had something that was based on, I don't know, let's say a cowboy, and you lump that in as part of this Nightbird faction, subgroup amongst the Decepticons? Maybe you go Japanese again, and you incorporate a samurai. So now we are not only giving Nightbird her own sentience and her own ability amongst the Decepticons, we're also potentially giving her her own faction and incorporating a lot of later characters into our new fiction and kind of giving them a revolving theme. Some may go Autobot at some point. Some will likely remain with the Decepticons. But it's a concept that can be reused, and it is an opportunity to bring in a host of characters that otherwise may go ignored. And I just think it's a fun idea. So, that is how I would use Nightbird in modern Transformers. This could work in a comic book, could work in a cartoon. Either way, I think she has a lot of potential, even if you stick to her original origin, just by tweaking a couple little things. And I think that's the best kind of reinvention, when you don't have to take too hard of a step in order to find something really special with them. So, that's my concept. What do you think? Tell me what you think in the comments below. Let me know another obscure character, or at least an underused character that maybe we can give a bit of a boost to and come up with something a little bit more fun and interesting. Until then, I'll see you next time. Guys, I am facing the most powerful enemy any YouTuber can face, the algorithm, and I need your help to defeat him. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment. Every time you do, we attack that algorithm and we drive it back until it can no longer defeat this channel. Thank you very much.